Welcome back to the Wiki Wacky Radio Show. I'm your host, Reed.
And I'm your host with the fake name, Frank.
And today, we got some twisted fairy tales to tell you. But first, it is Memorial Day as we are recording this episode. And in case you don't listen to our other show, Conservative Conversations, we wanted to take a moment to honor those who have given their lives for our country, serving in our military. And with that, we will have a brief moment of silence. We thank you for those who serve in our military and our Gold Star families. And with that, we'll start it off with Frank's story.
That's right. We'll see if you can figure it out at some point along in here, instead of me announcing what it is. So, once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage deep in the heart of an enchanting forest, there lived a family of 3 bears. Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. They were a peaceful and loving family who enjoyed their daily routines and treasured their privacy. One sunny morning, the bears decided to go for a walk while their breakfast porridge cooled. Papa Bear made a big bowl, Mama Bear a medium one, and Baby Bear a small one. They left their bowls on the table and ventured out into the forest, blissfully unaware of the uninvited guest who would soon enter their home. Goldie Locks, a curious and rather mischievous girl, was wandering through the forest. She had a penchant for exploring places she didn't belong, and today was no exception. As she strolled along, she came upon the bears' quaint little cottage. Intrigued and driven by her insatiable curiosity, she peeked through the window and saw the 3 bowls of porridge on the table. Her stomach rumbled. Without a second thought, Goldilocks pushed open the door and stepped inside. The delicious aroma of porridge filled the air, and she couldn't resist tasting each bowl. First, she tried Papa Bear's porridge. "Too hot!" she exclaimed, wrinkling her nose. Next, she sampled Mama Bear's porridge. "Too cold," she said with a frown. Finally, she tasted Baby Bear's porridge. "Just right," she declared, and promptly devoured the entire bowl. With her hunger satisfied, Goldilocks began to feel tired. She decided to explore further and soon found the bears' living room. 3 chairs awaited her. First, she sat in Papa Bear's chair. "Too hard," she grumbled. Next, she tried Mama Bear's chair. "Too soft," she sighed. Finally, she sat in Baby Bear's chair. "Just right," she giggled as she leaned back. The chair broke into pieces, sending her tumbling to the floor. Rubbing her bruised elbow, Goldilocks pushed herself up and wandered upstairs to the bedroom where 3 beds awaited her. First, she lay down on Papa Bear's bed. "Too hard," she muttered. Next, she tried Mama Bear's bed. "Too soft," she groaned. Finally, she snuggled into Baby Bear's bed. "Just right," she yawned, and in no time she was fast asleep. Meanwhile, the 3 bears returned from their walk, looking forward to their breakfast. As soon as they entered the cottage, they sensed something was amiss. "Someone's been eating my porridge," growled Papa Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Mama Bear, looking around. "Somebody's been eating my porridge and it's all gone," cried Baby Bear, peering into his empty bowl. The bears then noticed the state of their living room. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," grumbled Papa Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Mama Bear. "Somebody's been sitting in my chair and it broke to pieces," wailed Baby Bear, pointing at the broken chair. With growing anger, the bears climbed the stairs to their bedroom. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," rumbled Papa Bear. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," said Mama Bear. "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed and she's still there," exclaimed Baby Bear. Goldilocks awoke with a start to see 3 very angry bears glaring down at her. She jumped out of the bed, trying to explain, but the bears were too furious to listen. Their home had been invaded, their food eaten, and their furniture destroyed. Papa Bear let out a deep, menacing growl. "You've disrespected our home and our hospitality. We can't let this go unpunished." Without another word, the bears closed in on Goldilocks. Despite her protests and attempts to flee, the bears' anger was too great. In their rage, they pounced, and Goldilocks met a grim fate as the bears exacted their vengeance on her intrusion and disrespect. After eating her extremities and vital organs, Daddy Bear placed her head on a spike and put it in the yard as a dire warning to any other home invaders. After a week, word had gotten out, and all the other bears in the forest showed an interest in buying Goldilocks' head so they could place it in the front of their own homes as a deterrent to home invaders. Mommy Bear told her husband that selling the head of their home invader would be a good way to raise funds to replenish their pantry and replace Baby Bear's broken chair. So after some consideration, Daddy Bear called a bear council and started the auction for Goldilocks' head. They even convinced the most famous bear, Smokey, to come, since he is a famous voice in the home invader prevention space. Because everyone knows only you can prevent home invaders. So Smokey came, and the bidding started at 1 box of honeycombs. "Does anyone give me 1 box of honeycombs for Goldilocks' head?" And the auction waged for hours. $1 million was raised at the end of the auction. This is the end of The Twisted Goldilocks and the 3 Bears by Frank.
Oh, goodness. That
It was twisted.
was unexpected. Wow, okay, that was good.
That would scare people away. I think we should put somebody's head on a spike in our yard.
Maybe. How many boxes of honeycombs is $1 million?
$1 million. It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Wait, okay, I see. It's a perfect,
Yeah, 6 honeycombs, like individual honeycombs would be like 6 cents.
Oh, gotcha. So a box is like 100.
Is like $1. No, it's $1.
$1. Gotcha. 1 box of honeycombs is $1.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Let's not overthink it.
Well, I mean, you don't need to. You don't need to. So how did you arrive? How is Smokey the most famous bear?
Because it was between him and Yogi.
Uh-huh.
And Smokey still does commercials today. He's still printed on like T-shirts and hats and all kinds of stuff. So he's more prevalent.
Right.
Okay. That's more famous in my book.
But not Pooh Bear?
No, Pooh.
Pooh didn't make it?
Pooh wasn't even on the list.
Oh, gosh. I guess that's it. You only got 3 options?
Yep.
Well then,
Smokey was a shoo-in.
Oh well,
I also wanted to test my Sam Elliott voice,
Uh-huh.
but I think only the audience can fairly judge me.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know, folks. Send us an email or comment on YouTube. Was his Smokey the Bear Sam Elliott impression spot on?
Oh, it was spot on.
It was spot
And
on.
we'll even give you the courtesy, if you feel like donating, you can send us a box of honeycombs.
Yeah. We'll take all your honeycombs.
Or the equivalency. Because I
Yes.
think bear dollars to human dollars is like, what's a box of honeycombs? $4?
I have no idea. If we're talking about the cereal, at least.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
So feel free to make a $4 donation to your favorite podcasters.
That's right. That's right. Well, I guess that means it's my turn for my story.
It would seem so.
It would seem so. All right. Well then, it's a good one. It's a classic. Everybody knows it. And when I start, you're already gonna know how it goes. But don't beat me to it. All right.
I won't say a word.
I'm just you or the folks.
The listeners.
Yeah, they might think they know the story. But first, we gotta thank our sponsor for this episode. No story can ever be told without our great sponsor, the Library of... What did we say? Make believe. Without our sponsor, the Library of Make Believe.
That's right.
Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you need a story, you can just go to the Library of Make Believe. There are thousands and thousands of stories you have never heard of and may never ever see because there's so many.
That's right. There's a direct link to the Library of Make Believe on contemporaryconservative.net. You should all check it out. It is a library made up of thousands and thousands of make-believe stories, brought to you by listeners like you.
And only like you. If you need a story, you just gotta think it up and go to the Library of Make Believe. Once you've thought of your story and you visit their website, you'll find it.
On the flip side of that coin, if you've been browsing the Library of Make Believe and haven't found the story that you would write, you can write to contemporaryconservative.net with your story idea, and we'll make sure that it's published at the Make Believe Library.
That's right. And for some reason, if you still can't find the story you're looking for, it probably isn't real. Or it just haven't been made up yet. So that's where you come in. You gotta submit your made up stories to the Library of Make Believe so their collection is ever growing.
That's right. And we know if you're scared of being published because you've never been published before, well, don't worry, because we know how to grease the right palms and grease the right wheels to ensure that your story is published. So, write to us, and next thing you know, your story will be included in the Library of Make Believe.
That's right. The Library of Make Believe, the only place to find the world's best make believe stories. And be sure to email us, find those email addresses below, so you can get your promo code for your first free story at the Library of Make Believe. Thank you, LOMB, for being our sponsor.
And thanks for the check.
Okay. So once upon a time, there was this wolf guy. He was just a wolf, not a guy. He was walking along, looking for some grub, and he came upon the town where the pigs live, Baconville.
Baconville.
Yeah. And he saw his first target, and he looked so delicious. It was our first pig. His name's Porky. And
Of course, the most famous pig.
Yeah. Well, not that Porky, a different one.
Oh.
This isn't Porky the pig. This is just Porky.
A Porky Pig.
Yeah, his name's Porky, but he's a pig.
All right, I got you.
Well, the wolf guy walks on over, and he looks at him and says, "Whoa, you look so scrumptious. I'm going to eat you." And Porky runs back into his house. But his house is made of feathers. So the wolf guy says, "Oh, I got you now, Porky. I'm going to huff, and I'm going to puff, and I'm going to pull your feathers away." Well, old Porky was so scared, he seized up into a petrified state. And being defenseless, the old wolf guy gobbled him up like a hot bag of pork rinds.
Fresh ones.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh, hot bag of pork rinds. So Wolf felt satisfied, and he went back to his den for the night and took a nap. Well, the next day, he was out strolling around Baconville again, looking for some grub.
Seems like easy eating in Baconville.
Right. Well, he sees his next guy, a pig who goes by the name of Swinburne. Now, he's a normal kind of pig. He's not fat and lazy or anything. He's kind of smart, but he's weird. He's a weird one.
Like he wears one of those little hats?
No.
'Cause that's kind of what it sounds like to me.
No. You'll see. The wolf guy walks on over and says, "I see you, Swinburne, and I'm hungry." And old Swinburne runs back into his house, which is made of chicken bones. So the old wolf guy, he says, "I got you now, Swinburne. Your chicken bone house is no match for me." So the wolf just rams it, knocks it down, and it tumbles like a cheap Jenga tower. But Swinburne was prepared. As soon as Wolf guy bust through that wall, Swinburne whipped out his double belt slingshot and was firing rocks at him. Wolf guy didn't know what was hitting him, so he took off back for his den.
Really?
Yeah. True story. Not
It's
a joke.
True story?
Not a joke. Well, the wolf guy was determined to go out the next day and get some pig. He's been trying. He was successful once, so he's determined to get another one.
So I guess he went back to Baconville.
Yeah, of course. That's the only place to go. So he walks into Baconville, and he sees our third pig, Mr. Chops. But Mr. Chops, his house is made of bricks. And, so the wolf guy figured, how much tougher could this brick house be built by these pigs? They're just pigs. They can't build a brick house that's sturdy. Besides, he was able to just knock down the chicken bone house. So he figures he'll just give it a good huff and a puff and a good ramming.
So he's going to blow and...
Yeah. Well, it doesn't work. He huffs and he puffs and he rams, and he doesn't make a dent. So, since he was so sure that these pigs certainly wouldn't be able to, make a good house, he goes home and gets some reinforcements.
That makes sense. More wolves.
Yeah, he's gonna bring in some backup. All right, so the wolf guy, the next morning, shows up with 3 bears.
Oh, with 3 bears.
Yeah, him and 3 bears show up outside of Mr. Chop's house.
He must have bribed him with honeycombs.
He did. Yeah. Probably. So first, the baby bear. He gets a running start, and he rams right into the door of the house. But of course, the house was no match for his little bear noggin. And he's sitting there rubbing his head all sore. And Mr. Chops is up there laughing at him in his defeat and throwing down honey-covered rabbit turds at him. So next, the Mama Bear and Papa Bear, they team up. And they both get a good running start. And they both ram right into the house. And the house buckles a little. So they go, they back up. And they go get another running start. But Mr. Chops was ready. As the Mama Bear and Papa Bear were getting their running start, Mr. Chops firing out his grease cannon. And spilled a sludge of chicken grease all over their path. And causing them to slip and fall, and it fell right on their bare faces. Didn't even make it on their second try. Well, now the wolf, he's all upset. And he shouts at him, I'm gonna get you, Mr. Chops, once and for all. And he jumps over Mom Bear and Papa Bear just laying there in the chicken grease. And he lands right at the doorstep. And he sees, that's from Mama Bear and Papa Bear ramming into it. It looks like, the house is cracking a little bit. So Mr. Wolf, the wolf guy, he feels pretty confident. And he's going to huff and puff and ram into the house. And it starts shaking. And he huffs and he puffs some more. And the house shakes some more. And then, all of a sudden, it just stops. The shaking and the quivering of the house settles. And after a moment, when Mr. Chops thinks it's safe, he goes and he peers out the window. And what he sees is the wolf. He is seemingly, from all his huffing and puffing and blowing, has literally blown out his lungs.
Full-on lung collapse, huh?
Mr. Chops is celebrating and hooping and hollering because he's glad he was able to defeat the wolf. So he goes out to go to the door, and he figures he'll go meet up with Swinburne to have some celebratory drinks down at the Hammery.
Hey, I'll drink to that.
Yeah, right?
But, I guess?
There is a but.
I bet that the wolf guy was playing possum. Because I don't think you've brought enough animal analogies into this story.
No. Mr. Chops goes to open his door, and when he gives it a push, it only budges an inch. And he realizes the wolf is collapsed against his door, and behind him are Mama Bear and Papa Bear still slipping around in the grease. He can't get out.
He's trapped.
The end.
Like a rat.
And as the official author, I'm auctioning off some material.
I might be interested in buying. I mean, were they gold bricks?
No.
Oh.
First item for sale is the double belt slingshot.
Sounded like it was very effective.
And it's being sold for the price of one chicken. Can I hear one chicken?
I'll give you a chicken.
One chicken go once. Can I hear a chicken and a half?
I'm not going to bid against myself.
Nobody's saying chicken and a half. How about two chickens?
Two chickens.
All right, two chickens sold to the guy who just said two chickens. All right. So next is going to be a stack of bones from the real chicken bone house from Swinburne's house. And they're going for the price of, well, we'll start at half, just half chicken. Half a chicken for a nice stack of chicken bones from Swinburne's house, the real ones. Half a chicken. Okay, how about a quarter chicken? No.
I just hear crickets.
An
Maybe they're interested.
eighth chicken. Nobody wants this chicken bones. Okay, all right.
Is it for charity?
It's going to be now. It's going to be donated to the local place. All right.
Yeah, I know them.
The next item is the one and only fur from the wolf.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yes, it's been cleaned up. He's no longer got lung guts on him. It's pristine. He's fully, you can get the fur or you can take him stuffed, whichever one you want. He comes stuffed, but you just peel the fur right off of him,
Just undo what the taxidermist did.
He's kind of like a mannequin with a wolf fur coat on in the shape of a wolf. Right? The wolf mannequin wearing a wolf fur coat.
I'm just interested in the fur.
Okay, well, you'll get both and you can do what you want. And I'll start the price at 20 chickens.
That's too many chickens.
Too many chickens. This
That's
is
like $80, something like that.
This is real, genuine wolf fur. Straight from the wolf in the story. You can't get it anywhere else. 20 chickens. Okay, how about
19.
20 chickens and a goose?
I can't do goose math. Is that lower or higher than a chicken?
It comes with the... All right.
I feel like
you said
goose
19 chickens. 19 chickens. I'll take the 19 chickens.
19
What's one chicken?
chickens.
What's one chicken less? Sold! And that
What
concludes...
a bargain.
That concludes this crazy auction. And the official ending of this one and only Three Pigs Twisted Tale.
Well, listen, I wouldn't sit here and make out like my story was perfect or anything, but I see some inaccuracies.
Inaccuracies?
Yeah, logical fallacies within your story. First of all, do you know that pigs are omnivores? They eat everything. I don't think they'd eat feathers, so that was good. No problem there.
Uh-huh.
But they would swallow chicken bones like they were potato chips. Do you know that?
Well, Swinburne knew what he was doing. I told you he was smart. He saved the chicken bones and made his house.
Yeah, I think he was smart.
Because at least it didn't just blow away like Porky, may he rest in peace. I mean, at least bought him some time to,
Well, I know that night when the pigs met and had a couple beers, they drank to Porky.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But here's another thing.
Yeah.
If the guy's brick house had windows, couldn't both sides, they could have broken the windows and penetrated the house. I've had that happen to me personally. Windows break pretty easily. They could have gone in through the window.
No.
And what's Mr. Chops could have left through the window.
He was upstairs.
He's afraid to jump?
He's just a little pig.
Plus, he shot chicken grease out of a chicken cannon. He probably would have eaten the grease. Pigs eat everything.
Well, I mean, at least with my story, we found out where your bears were.
I'm glad they weren't doing time.
Yeah, they were out helping the wolf, trying to eat these pigs.
I think that's because Storybook Forest has very strong stand your ground laws, though.
Yeah, of course.
They take home invasions very seriously in Storybook Forest.
Well, yeah. I mean, Swinburne defended his home with his double belt slingshot.
That's true.
Yeah. He knew what he was doing.
Too bad none of them had guns. Well, what's his face had a cannon?
Yeah, a grease cannon.
Grease cannon.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we should look into buying one of those. Too bad that wasn't up for auction.
Well, I mean, not Porky. Sorry, Porky. Mr. Chops didn't want to give it up.
I mean, I'd pay like 300 boxes of honeycombs and 100 chickens for a grease cannon.
That's outrageous. I mean, box of honeycombs wouldn't mean nothing to the pigs. But the chicken...
I bet they'd eat them. They eat everything.
That doesn't... everything doesn't mean everything.
Everything does mean everything.
Not in this case. They don't like honey.
Sure they do.
Did you write this story?
Oh, not your pig.
Yeah.
I guess I'm talking about real pigs.
Oh, well, I've been talking about my pigs only.
My bad. That's where I'm coming from. The
yes.
real world. I forgot we were in fairy tale.
Yeah.
Storybook forest.
Yeah. Where anything is possible. Well, those were definitely some original, creative, funny stories.
Kind of twisted fairy tales, huh?
Definitely unexpected, I'd say. I got a good laugh out of yours. Poor old Goldie Locks.
With her head on a spike.
Those bears are really into the barbarism. But anyway, if you listeners, folks, enjoyed our stories and you want to hear more, please be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and on our YouTube channel. You can check us out on your favorite podcast platforms such as Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and many more. Just search Wiki Wacky Radio Show, and you can go follow us and subscribe on YouTube. Just search at WWRS.
That's right. If you've enjoyed this content, we hope you might share it with a friend or two. And if you're tired of this lighthearted, whimsical material, you could always follow our more serious news-related podcast, Conservative Conversations. But, as always, we thank you for listening.